My beloved child. Stop for a moment. Do not move past these words, because something has just happened that no one expected, and your name is now standing at the center of it. What you are about to hear was not meant to reach you through noise or coincidence. It has arrived because a door that seemed permanently closed has suddenly been forced open, and the person opening it is the one you least expected. Your soulmate's mother is looking for you right now, and only moments ago, she stopped a wedding before a promise could be completed. Stay here, because the reason she stopped it is not what anyone in that room believes. There were flowers everywhere. Soft music moved through the air. Guests had gathered, dressed in celebration, smiling as though the future had already been decided. Every detail had been planned carefully. Every chair had been placed. Every word had been rehearsed. From the outside, it appeared to be a beautiful beginning, the kind of moment families preserve in photographs and speak about for years. But beneath that beauty, something was wrong. Your soulmate stood in the center of it all wearing the expression everyone expected, yet their heart was somewhere else. People saw a smile, but their mother saw the tremble beneath it. Others heard confident answers, but she heard the hesitation hidden between each word. She had been watching them for days, perhaps even weeks, pretending not to notice what was becoming impossible to ignore. Every time someone mentioned the wedding, your soulmate became quieter. Every time the future was described, their eyes seemed to search for an escape. And every time their mother asked whether they were truly happy, the answer came too quickly. Yes. One word, spoken with a voice that did not believe itself. At first, she tried to convince herself that it was only nervousness. Weddings bring fear, she thought. Big changes make people uncertain. Perhaps her child simply needed reassurance. So she smiled, offered comfort, and continued helping with the preparations. But a mother's heart notices what words try to hide. She noticed that your soulmate did not speak about love. They spoke about responsibility. They spoke about timing. They spoke about what was expected. They spoke about how difficult it would be to disappoint everyone. Yet when she asked what made them certain about the person standing beside them, their eyes lowered. That silence planted the first seed of doubt. Still, she did not know about you. Not yet. The truth began to appear through small things. A name mentioned in sleep. A photograph closed too quickly. A message that was typed and erased before being sent. A change in your soulmate's expression when an old memory surfaced. None of these moments seemed large enough to stop a wedding, but together they formed a pattern. And then she found something. It was not hidden intentionally, at least not at first. Perhaps it was a letter placed inside an old book, a folded note beneath a drawer, a photograph tucked somewhere no one was expected to look, or a message left visible on a screen during a moment of distraction. Whatever form it took, it carried your name. She almost looked away. She knew it belonged to your soulmate's private world. She knew reading further might cross a boundary. But one sentence had already caught her attention, and once she saw it, she could not pretend it meant nothing. The sentence said, "I am about to promise my life to someone else, but my heart still searches for you." Her hands began to tremble. She read it again. Then she continued. The words were not cruel toward the person your soulmate was expected to marry. There was no mockery, no hatred, no desire to humiliate anyone. That made the confession even more painful. Your soulmate wrote with guilt, regret, and the kind of sorrow that comes when someone believes they have waited too long to tell the truth. They admitted that they had tried to forget you. They admitted that others had encouraged them to move on. They admitted that the wedding began as an attempt to choose stability over a love that had frightened them. Most of all, they admitted that no matter how hard they tried, they could not enter a new life without feeling that they were betraying something sacred within themselves. Their mother sat alone with those words, and the world around her changed. Suddenly, the distant looks made sense. The sleepless nights made sense. The unexplained sadness made sense. She realized her child was not afraid of marriage. They were afraid of marrying the wrong person while still loving you. But the revelation did not end there. At the bottom of the letter, your soulmate wrote something directly about their mother. They wrote, "She thinks I am choosing happiness. I do not know how to tell her I am choosing the path that will cause the least conflict." Those words pierced her. She had believed she was supporting her child. Now she wondered whether her expectations had helped push them toward a life they did not truly want. She remembered conversations in which she praised the engagement, spoke proudly about the future, and dismissed every hesitation as temporary fear. Without realizing it, she had become part of the pressure. That night, she entered your soulmate's room. They were sitting in darkness, still awake, though the hour was late. For a moment, neither of them spoke. She wanted to ask directly about the letter, but something stopped her. Perhaps it was the exhaustion in their face. Perhaps it was the fear that naming the truth would force a decision no one was prepared to make. Instead, she asked one question. If there were no guests, no plans, no expectations, and no one to disappoint, would you still choose this wedding? Your soulmate froze. That pause answered more than words could. Still, they said, it is too late now. Their mother stepped closer. That was not my question. Your soulmate looked away. Then came the sentence that changed everything. I do not know how to leave without destroying everyone. Their mother felt the truth enter the room like a storm. She asked who they truly loved. They did not answer immediately. Their breathing changed. Their eyes filled, but they fought the tears as though crying would make the confession real. Finally, in a voice barely above a whisper, they said your name. Your name. The name their mother had seen in the letter. The name now moving through her mind while the wedding waited only hours away. She asked what had happened between you. Your soulmate told her only part of the story. They spoke about timing, distance, misunderstandings, and fear. They admitted that there had been moments when they could have reached out but chose silence. They believed you had moved on. They believed you might no longer listen. They believed they had damaged the connection beyond repair. Yet even as they spoke, one truth remained clear. They had not stopped loving you. Their mother asked why they agreed to marry someone else. Your soulmate's answer carried years of hidden pain. Because everyone kept telling me love should not be this difficult. They said I needed to choose someone available, someone safe, someone who would fit into the life already prepared for me. I thought maybe feelings would grow later. I thought if I kept moving forward, eventually my heart would follow. But the heart did not follow. The closer the wedding came, the farther their spirit pulled away. Their mother asked whether the person they were about to marry knew. Your soulmate said no. That answer created a deeper crisis. This was no longer only about your soulmate's hidden feelings. Another person was about to enter a marriage without knowing that the heart standing before them was divided. A family was gathering to celebrate a promise built upon silence. Everyone believed they were witnessing certainty, but certainty had never existed. Their mother knew that whatever happened next would hurt someone. If the wedding continued, the pain would be delayed and deepened. If the wedding stopped, the pain would arrive immediately and publicly. There was no path without heartbreak. But there was one path without deception. She told your soulmate they needed to speak before the ceremony. Fear overtook them. They begged her not to interfere. They said the shame would be unbearable. They said everyone would blame them. They said the person waiting to marry them did not deserve public humiliation. They promised they would handle it after the wedding, quietly, carefully, somehow. Their mother stared at them in disbelief. After the wedding? Your soulmate lowered their head. In that moment, she understood how deeply fear had taken control. Her child was preparing to make a lifelong promise simply because they did not know how to survive one difficult moment. She said, "A painful truth before a vow is kinder than a hidden truth after it." Your soulmate began to cry. Not softly. Not carefully. Years of emotion broke loose at once. They spoke about you in fragments. They remembered the way you made them feel understood. They confessed the mistakes they had made. They admitted they had checked for signs of you even while preparing to marry someone else. They revealed that every step toward the altar had felt like walking farther away from themselves. Their mother held them while they cried, and for the first time, she saw the full weight they had been carrying. Yet when morning came, fear returned. The house filled with movement. Phones rang. Guests arrived. Clothing was adjusted. Flowers were delivered. Music was tested. Everyone around your soulmate acted as though the previous night had never happened. Their mother waited for them to speak. They did not. She watched them prepare. She watched them accept congratulations. She watched them nod while people praised the match. And with each passing minute, she realized they were going to continue. Not because they had changed their mind. Because they were still afraid. Then, shortly before the ceremony, she found them standing alone in front of a mirror. Everyone else saw a person ready for a wedding. She saw someone saying goodbye to their own heart. She asked one final time, "Do you want me to stop this?" Your soulmate's lips parted, but no sound came. A tear escaped before they could wipe it away. That was the answer. The ceremony began. Guests turned their heads. The music rose. The person waiting at the front believed their future was approaching. Your soulmate took the first step, then another, carrying a secret that seemed to grow heavier with every movement. Their mother watched from her place. She could hear her own heartbeat. She thought about remaining silent. She thought about the embarrassment, the anger, the questions, and the damage this moment would create. She knew people might never forgive her. She knew her child might blame her. She knew the family might fracture. But then she remembered the letter. I am about to promise my life to someone else, but my heart still searches for you. Before the final vow could begin, she stood. Her chair moved sharply against the floor. The sound was small, yet it silenced the room. Every face turned toward her. She said, "This wedding cannot continue." For several seconds, no one moved. The words seemed too impossible to understand. Then confusion erupted. Someone asked what she meant. Another person told her to sit down. The person waiting to marry your soulmate looked at them in shock. Your soulmate stood completely still, their face pale, their eyes locked upon their mother. She walked forward. She did not shout. She did not accuse anyone. Her voice remained calm, but the truth within it carried more power than anger ever could. She said that a marriage should not begin while someone's heart is hiding elsewhere. The room changed. Whispers spread. Your soulmate's eyes filled with terror. The person beside them asked, "Is there someone else?" No answer came. The question was repeated. Still, silence. Then their mother spoke your name. Your name entered that room like lightning. Some people recognized it. Others did not. But your soulmate reacted as though every wall around them had disappeared. The person they were about to marry looked directly at them and asked, "Who is that?" Your soulmate tried to speak, but grief closed their throat. Their mother turned toward the guests and said the ceremony needed to stop until the truth was faced. She apologized to the families. She acknowledged the pain. She refused to pretend that continuing would protect anyone. Some people became angry. They accused her of creating drama. They said private matters should have remained private. They demanded proof. That was when she revealed the letter. Not every word. Not every private confession. Only enough to make denial impossible. Your soulmate stood listening as their own hidden truth was brought into the light. They could no longer hide behind preparation, expectations, or fear. The life they had been moving toward stopped in a single moment. The person waiting to marry them stepped back. Their face changed from confusion to heartbreak. They asked, "Did you ever love me?" Your soulmate answered honestly, "I tried to." Those 3 words wounded everyone who heard them. The room fell silent again. Their mother closed her eyes, knowing the truth had caused pain, yet also knowing a greater betrayal had been prevented. She had not stopped the wedding because she hated the person her child was about to marry. She stopped it because no one deserved to enter a marriage built on emotional absence. Your soulmate removed the symbol of the promise they were about to make. Their hands shook. Tears fell freely now. They apologized to the person before them, but apologies could not soften the shock. Family members gathered around. Some offered comfort. Others expressed anger. Questions collided from every direction. And through all of it, your soulmate's mother kept thinking about you. She needed to know whether you still cared. She needed to understand what had happened. She needed to discover whether her child was mourning a real connection or an idealized memory. Most of all, she needed to tell you something your soulmate had never known. Because she had seen your name before. Long before finding the letter. Months earlier, perhaps even longer, your soulmate's mother had heard about you from someone else. At the time, she did not realize who you were. She was told there had been a person who changed her child deeply, someone they loved but could not admit they loved. She was also told that a misunderstanding had separated you, and that the misunderstanding may not have happened naturally. Someone had interfered. Someone had carried words between you that were not fully true. Someone had made your soulmate believe you no longer wanted them. And someone had made you believe they had chosen another life without hesitation. Their mother had dismissed the story then, believing it belonged to the past. But now, standing in the aftermath of a stopped wedding, she understood that the interference had shaped everything. She began looking for you immediately. She searched through old messages. She asked questions your soulmate did not expect. She contacted someone who had once known both of you. She tried to find a phone number, an account, any path that could lead to you. Your soulmate noticed. They asked what she was doing. She said, "I am finding the person whose name just stopped this wedding." Fear entered their face again. They begged her not to contact you. They said they had already caused enough damage. They said you might be happy now. They said you might hate them. Their mother answered, "Then that truth must come from them, not from your fear." Your soulmate had no response. What they did not understand was that she was not searching for you simply to reunite two people. She was searching because she had uncovered a deeper part of the story, and it concerned the very reason you were separated. The person who had interfered was present at the wedding. They had been sitting among the guests. They knew exactly why the ceremony had been stopped. And the moment your name was spoken, their expression gave them away. Your soulmate's mother saw it. A sudden fear. A glance toward the exit. A phone quickly hidden. She followed them before they could leave. In a quiet hallway away from the guests, she confronted them. At first, they denied knowing anything. They said the situation had nothing to do with them. They claimed they barely remembered you. But she had found messages. Old messages. Conversations that proved they had spoken to your soulmate about you. Words designed to create suspicion. Claims that you had moved on. Statements suggesting you had never been serious. There were also messages sent in the other direction, making it appear as though your soulmate wanted nothing more to do with you. The interference had not been one careless comment. It had been deliberate. Your soulmate's mother demanded to know why. The person's answer shocked her. They said they believed they were protecting the family. They believed you did not fit the future everyone had imagined. They believed your connection would pull your soulmate away from responsibilities, expectations, and the life that had already been planned. So they created distance. They encouraged silence. And when another relationship appeared, they helped push it forward. Your soulmate's mother realized the wedding had not simply grown from fear. It had been guided by manipulation. She asked whether your soulmate knew. They said no. Then she asked whether you knew. Again, no. The person begged her not to reveal the truth. They said everything had gone too far. They argued that exposing the past would only create more pain. They insisted the wedding was already ruined and nothing could be repaired. But she no longer trusted anyone who used silence as protection. She told them the truth would be revealed. That was when they said something that changed her urgency into alarm. They said, "You cannot contact that person until you know what happened after the last message." Their mother stopped. "What last message?" The person looked away. "There had been one final message from you. A message your soulmate never received. It had been intercepted before it reached them. And according to the person standing in that hallway, what you wrote in that message was the real reason they had worked so hard to keep you apart." Your soulmate's mother demanded to see it. For a moment, the person refused. Then, slowly, they opened their phone. The message was still there. Saved all this time. Your soulmate's mother began to read, and before she reached the final line, tears filled her eyes, because your message did not say you were leaving. It said you had discovered the truth about someone in the family. It said you were ready to tell your soulmate everything. And the final sentence named the person who had secretly planned the wedding from the very beginning.